Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be answering some questions that I've received on my Instagram account when I asked if anybody wanted, if there was anything people wanted to know about my planner or my planning style. I have received quite a few questions, so I think what I'm going to do is I will timestamp them below in the description box, so if there's something specific you're after, you can just have a look on there, so you don't have to sit through this. There are quite a few questions, so I'm going to try and get through as many as I can, and if I get to the end of filming and it's a really long video, then I will cut it into 2 parts. Okay, so let's get started. So the first few questions are about using alternative types of planners. So while I answer that, I thought it'd be cool to kind of flip through my very first Stalogy. So I used 2 Stalogies in, this one started in 2018 and it went through first half of 2019, and then this is the second half of 2019. You can see the huge size difference there, but I thought it'd be quite fun for you guys, especially if you're new, to just see how my Stalogy style changed and evolved, just while I answer these first few questions. So will I be buying the new Wonderland B6 notebook that comes with Tomoe River paper? I have looked into it. I did see, like, when they were doing their pre-sales, and if it's got the same number of pages as a Stalogy, which I think it does, and it's Tomoe River paper, I would definitely be interested in buying one. Unfortunately, the postage is not something, like, the postage is basically more to the UK than the planner itself. I did have, like, a couple of very kind people, like friends on Instagram, offer to have it posted to them in the US, and then they could send it to me. But I think for now I'm going to just leave it. I'm going to finish the year out in a Stalogy because I've got, I've started 2 notebooks, and so for the last 4 months I would just finish off in a 3rd Stalogy. But yeah, it's definitely something I'm aware of, and hopefully maybe one day I will get one. I also wanted to check whether it comes with like a soft cover or a hard cover, because I do like my, Lauren Phelps Designs cover, as well as like putting it into the Malden and things like that. So yeah. Then I had lots of questions about, like, why Stalogy, not a Nanami notebook, or why not A5, or have I considered A5, how come B6 over other sizes. So I'll just answer all of them in one go. And I got a Stalogy because I wanted to use my D-ringed Malden. So I had actually D-ringed my Malden many years ago when I was using a B6 Traveler's notebook, and I was using, like, different notebooks, Traveler's notebook inserts within the Malden. And then when I moved to, like, pocket rings and A6 rings, I really missed that Malden. So I just thought, if there's some way I can use it without it being a ringed planner. And so I wasn't sure whether the B6 Stalogy would fit in there, but I had seen Sierra from SM Plans using a Stalogy, and I kind of did the measurements, loosely. I did look on Instagram to see if there was anybody using a Stalogy in a Malden at the time. I didn't find anybody who was, so I couldn't check with anyone. So I just bit the bullet and I ordered a Stalogy, and it fit. Like, it fits perfectly. I mean, it's a little tight, but it fits. Once it's in, it fits beautifully. And to me, it just, that's why I chose a B6. And I did want something that came with lots of pages. So yeah, I do like the paper. I know it's not Tomoe River paper, but I really like the paper. I like the size. I don't need A5. I think A5 would be too big, and then I would have to, like, you know, buy new covers and all that. So yeah, basically B6 because I wanted to use the Malden, and I have been in B6 TNs before, so I knew the size would be a good fit for me. I haven't tried the A6. People do always ask me if I've tried the A6. I think I've been in A6 rings, and after having, you know, having used the B6 Stalogy for a while now, I'm kind of really comfortable in this size, so I won't be either downsizing or going bigger, to be honest. Not for the foreseeable future. So yeah, I think people do always ask me, like, have you considered this size? Would you try this one? But yeah, B6 is my size for now, and it has been for the last like couple of years now. And I just, yeah, I love it, and it works for me. Next question was, how has your planning style evolved over the years? And also there was another question about, like, what planners have I previously used? So I have got a separate video on all the planners that I've used. I think it was filmed last August when there was a challenge of all the books August. And because I only ever use one planner really at a time, I just thought it'd be a cool way to share all the planners I have used over a long period of time. And so I will link that video below. But yeah, I've been using, I think the very first planner I had was a Filofax Domino, and then, like, that was before I even, like, joined the planning community. And then obviously I fell down the Erin Condren rabbit hole. Let me see, actually. So yeah, I've used like several different planners, and I think the main way my planning style itself has changed is that you can see, like, in my Erin Condren, I was very, very sticker heavy. I wasn't so much a kit person, like I never used to really buy planner kits as such, but I definitely loved, you know, using stickers for everything. I don't think I ever just wrote something without adding a sticker to it. And you know what, I really love looking through this, and it worked because I had the space. Obviously this was a weekly, so I wasn't putting like daily tasks on there. Like now I'm much more of a lister. But yeah, I do have flips of my Erin Condren planners in my very, very old Stalogies. But yeah, so I would say the main way my planning style has changed is that I used to be like in a weekly planner with lots of stickers, and then I kind of moved away from that and was more into like daily pages. And when I moved to the pocket, I did still use quite a few stickers, but then over time I definitely started, so I was doing day on 2 pages in pocket rings. Again, these flips of my pocket ring pages are on my Instagram. I'll put the hashtag here. If you use this hashtag, you'll be able to see all my planner flips that I've ever done in all different planner sizes. But yeah, I definitely started using less and less stickers, and yeah, when I was in my standard TN, I, you know, definitely was not using any stickers at all, really. So, and I really liked this, and it really worked. I didn't use it, like, this was more like I was in and out of this when I had, you know, less busier weeks, basically. In between pocket rings and in between A6 rings, I would use this. But I definitely realized that I need daily pages. I'm not a weekly person. Yeah, I need like a breakdown of my tasks for each day. So yeah, I would say the main way my planning has changed is that I have found a happy balance between using stickers and being just like, you know, a lister, writing down lists. where did it? So I think that's the kind of the end of the first one. So this is part 2. Okay, so yeah, I will link the previous like planner video down in the description box below. Then I had some questions about how often do I look through my old planners, either for like fun, just to flip through them, or how often do I need to reference old planners. So for fun, I kind of flip through them, I would say, every now and again. Not that often, actually. I tend to flip through like my current Stalogy a lot more than old ones, but I definitely do pull them off, you know, the shelf every now and again. And my kids are, you know, they just love looking through it as well and reading little notes that I've taken and written about them. For reference, I would say only for like work meetings, because I don't have a separate work planner. Everything I do is because I work in child protection, I can't, like, there's very strict rules and regulations about what I can keep on paper at home for confidentiality purposes and data protection. So I work online, but I do use like my monthlies for meetings and things. And that's probably the only place where I reference work meetings. I don't put it on my phone. I don't have a separate work calendar for that. So that's probably the only time I would need to, you know, reference my planner, is if I need to look at my monthly to see when certain meetings happened, or yeah, anything that I will need in a planner at the end of a planner, I will like transfer to my Stalogy. And now obviously I've got my reference planner as well, my reference notebook. So anything that I would potentially need to reference is now in a separate notebook that I can, you know, avoid having to flip through this. So in here, other than my daily pages, I just have notes like from books that I'm reading, or quotes, just random brain dumps or thoughts, things like that. Nothing really that I would feel that needs to be, you know, migrated forward to. Like I love learning about like relationships and psychology and things like that, so you'll see a lot of notes like that, and parenting. So you'll see lots of those kind of notes, and they're more just like for my own learning at the time, not necessarily something I need to go back and read over and over again. Obviously, when I am flipping through this, I will just read it as a quick like refresher. Will you keep your planners forever? Also like questions about storing them and where I keep them. Yes, I'm hoping to keep them for as long as I'm alive, and then if my kids want them, they're welcome to have them, or, you know, whatever, they can. I'm not attached to what happens to them once I'm gone, I guess. I mean, my kids do kind of say right now, they kind of argue about who's going to get them, because I think they do want, yeah, they do want to keep these. So yeah, forever. I just have them on a bookshelf. I've got like a small bookshelf in my room, and I just keep them there. They are all like titled with the year, and then it says book 1, book 2, book 3, whatever, however many books I have for the year. So that way they are very easy to reference. So yeah, that's basically how I store them. I just keep them all on a bookshelf. Then I had questions about my planning style itself. Sorry, just getting a bit comfortable. Do I use the bullet journal system? I do, in the sense that I will write, you know, like a list of things, and then once they're done, I kind of tick them off or like cross them off. Otherwise, I like migrate them forward, or I, you know, like put a little asterisk for notes. Obviously, it's not the traditional bullet journal type, because I do use stickers, and I do a day per page, like that is set. I don't just keep a running, like, you know, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I don't do that. But yeah, it's definitely heavily influenced by the bullet journal system, in terms of notes, like collections, I guess. Again, the difference is that I combine my kind of memory keeping with it, with my daily plans, which I think I think he kind of encourages that as well. So yeah, I don't use the index system. Yeah. Do I use any other planners or journals at the moment? I don't. I'm definitely a one planner person. I do have a separate Stalogy, like just a completely blank Stalogy with no stickers, no decorations or anything, that I use for journaling, that I started journaling at the beginning of the year in. My goal was to journal every day, every single day, just write something, even if it's just like one sentence. I was not able to keep on top of that. So it is there. It just sits on my bedside table. I don't write in it every day. I haven't picked it up in ages, but that is really the only other planner that I have. Like, I combine my homeschool, my memory keeping, my plans, my brain dumps, my work notes, like non-confidential training notes, yeah, everything in this one notebook. Do I have a separate budget planner? No. I have started doing a little bit of budgeting in my reference notebook, which I wouldn't say exactly is a separate planner per se. It's definitely an extension of my Stalogy, and it's going to be just like a small insert that sits in the back of my Stalogy that can be migrated to each new Stalogy. But yeah, I haven't really figured out a budget system yet. Brandy Michelle Plans has a fabulous video on her budget system, which I really liked because she made it seem very doable. So definitely check that out. I will leave the link for that below. But at the moment, I haven't really figured out a system that, well, I haven't really spent time to figure out a system that works for me. Yeah. What prompted you to try this style of planning, and what's your favorite element of it? So again, my style has definitely changed over time. It's not something that I thought, okay, I'm going to get a notebook and I'm going to do like time dailies and have a list. It just kind of, that's how it just developed over time. I've always been a lister. Like I just need to sit down at the beginning of the day or at the end of the day and write a list out of things that need to get done. And then I also need like a visual breakdown of my day, specifically on busy days or when there's lots of appointments happening or kids things happening. So yeah, the combination of the two just led to this style. And obviously on days where I don't have tons of appointments, I just put like a little sticker with a timed appointment, and then it will be a list. My favorite element of it is definitely going back and seeing all the little notes I've taken, which I'm beginning to do more and more of. So like here, I've just put a little post-it note. So definitely, like I don't care that I, baked that day, or that I uploaded a YouTube video, or that I cleaned the house. Obviously, in the moment, these are things that help me function and be productive and get things done. But in terms of looking back on it, it's definitely the memory keeping that I do in here that I love to reflect on and read, which is definitely why I am trying to do more of that in my planners. And in some of my planner pages, especially in the summer holidays, I was doing like a day per 2 page. I don't know if it's in this planner or the previous one, but basically I was having like, my tasks on this side and then memory keeping on the other side, and that did work really, really well for me. It's not something I need. So here it is. So it's not something I would need on a daily basis, but I was definitely going through, I think this was when I was reading the bullet journal method, I'm not sure, but I was really inspired to keep more detailed notes about our day. So I was using this side for like events, tasks, events and appointments, and then list, and then memory keeping. And I was thinking of doing this kind of spread in my Stalogy for next week as well, just because we have a few things going on that I feel like I might want to document a bit more than just like 1 or 2 small notes squashed in. That was Wednesday, 2 days, Thursday. So yeah, this is definitely, I would say, like my favorite part of a planner is looking back on the notes I take. How do you find info in previous planners? So other than my daily pages, which are pretty easy to find because all my months are tabbed, in my, like, I have just uploaded a video on my tabs. So any notes that I take, I'm just tabbing now, using tab tape. So I will leave a link for that video below, and because I do explain quite thoroughly in there my tab system, and how I'm able to just quickly find information that I need, because yes, I don't use an index. Okay, tabs again, how do you know which are for what? Also, can you do a tutorial on these top tabs? So I don't actually make these are from an Etsy shop called Monkey Moose. I have left the link for her shop in my tab video. They're called floating tabs. I don't know how to make them, unfortunately. And yes, how do I know what tabs are for what? Again, I would refer you to that video. I think it's just a couple of videos ago that I just kind of have done a whole video dedicated to my tabs. So I think that will answer those questions. There's also requests for a reference book video, which I've also filmed. So I will leave the link for that below. I'm just going to flip through this while I quickly answer some questions. So yeah, reference book info, I'm sure you've already seen the video I've already uploaded. Future planning. How do you do future planning if you only set up a month at a time? So I am going to do a separate video on my planning system, and I might cover that. I will probably cover that more in depth on that video, because I think to try and explain how I do that is going to take too long. So, I will leave that for now. How do you fight the urge to try all the different systems? And also the next question I just kind of put together with that was, have I found Planner Piece? I would say yes. Like for me, Planner Piece is definitely more about finding a system that works for the season of life that I'm in. Like when I was in the Erin Condren, that was my planner piece. When I was in my pocket rings, this was most definitely, you know, planner piece for me. I was in pocket rings, I would say, for like 2 years maybe, or at least 18 months. And, you know, initially I was just doing like day per page, and then I realized actually it's too squashed for me, so I need to change to day per 2 page. So when I started, you know, doing it like this was planner piece for me. It was enough. I didn't have so much going on in my life that I felt I needed more space. I also wasn't really keeping notes or memory keeping in here, and so that was, you know, okay for me. So yeah, I think if you know what you need and what you want in a planner, then anybody can have planner piece. So for me, it's important to have everything in one place: my homeschooling, my plans, my memory keeping, everything in one. And then whether it's day per page or day per 2 page, or if it's like, you know, just a running like week on 2 pages, whatever the system is, you can pretty much make that work in any planner. So I think the planner, other than the size, you know, depending on what size you need, the planner doesn't really matter. It's definitely more about just figuring out what your planner system is. And for me at the moment, and for the last, you know, couple of years, this has been planner piece using a Stalogy, because it gives me the freedom within this notebook to change my style up. Like here I'm just doing purely like memory keeping because I had tipped in a weekly insert. I didn't have any, you know, need for daily to-do list. But then if I do want daily to-do lists, then I can just change it up the next day or the next week. So yeah, I think for me, planner piece definitely just means finding the right system and the right size, and then everything else will just, you know, fall into place. What is your favorite part of doing dailies? Again, definitely the memory keeping aspect, just writing a small little note about my day. I very much appreciate having a timed daily because, like I said, I am quite a visual person. And here I wasn't even planning my day as such. It was more like memory keeping, but like more like keeping a record of how my time was spent, like a breakdown of my time. But yeah, I do love having timed dailies. What else? How many pages of notes do you typically average? Also, when do you take notes in your planner versus other places? I don't plan out how many note pages I'm going to have. So I will just lay out my weekly, and then I will just use as many notes as I want to take. And sometimes that is like, sometimes it can be none, although that's very unusual, like after a week. Sometimes it can be lots and lots of notes pages. Sometimes it can just be a few. I really have no system of counting out. So there's no average that I would be able to give you. I just aim to finish my notebook at the end of a certain period. So like this one is my previous, my current one. So I know that I've got, you know, these many pages to last till the end of August. So when I get to the last month, I definitely start counting out the pages, making sure I've got enough for daily pages, monthly pages, and then I know roughly how many notes pages I've got. And if I need more than that, I will just tip them in like I have here, or I will use sticky notes like I do a lot. So yeah, I definitely don't have a set way of doing notes pages. When do I take notes in my planner versus other places? I don't really take notes in other places. I am like a person who underlines books and highlights books and things like that, and puts like loads of sticky notes on reference books that I'm reading. But other than that, I don't really take notes anywhere. Definitely don't take digital notes because I just can't, yeah, it just doesn't work for me. How do you resist starting over in a new Stalogy if you don't love all of it? I don't ever start a new notebook. I think at the very beginning of, you know, when I started using a Stalogy, and I've said this, I know, loads of times, so please forgive me for kind of repeating myself. But when I first started this Stalogy, I'll just make sure there's nothing private on there. I, you know, hadn't figured out my style. I hadn't really figured out my planning system. And so I ended up using like a sticker kit. And even though it was really beautiful and would have worked really well in other planners, I wasn't happy. And if I was kind of like a perfectionist type of person, I would probably rip out the beginning parts of this notebook. Like these pages, it kind of pains me in one sense to look at them, because I feel like so much washi, so many like huge stickers. There's like no order to the page. And I remember when I was trying to reference these pages and I was like trying to do Christmas shopping, I had to rewrite everything out on a sticky note because I could not look at this and figure out where I had to be at what time or what I was supposed to buy. It was just, it's so unorganized. And yeah, if I was that kind of person, I would be like, right, let's just take out the first 2 weeks of this Stalogy. But I just, you know what, I just think, okay, let's just move on to the next page. Like, I don't feel like I have to start a whole new book. And even if that happens for like months and months where it's just awful, it doesn't matter. Like, I can look back on it and I've, you know, can think, okay, well, you know what, this is something that didn't work for me. So yeah, I definitely do not. And you know what, there's always something good in there. Like, even in the bad pages, it's a, you know, really pretty kit. I think it's from Happy Scrappy, and it is a really, really cute kit. So if nothing else, it's got pretty stickers on it. Okay, I'm trying to get through these a little bit quicker. Do you take your planner out and about with you, or does it stay at home? I definitely take it out and about with me. And I know like lots of people, not lots, but quite a few people comment on the size of my Stalogy when I share it or when I do flips. When I did my handbag video, I had, you know, people feel that it's too big and too heavy to carry around, and why do I do it? But for me, it's not a problem. I'm happy to carry it around. I don't have tons of stuff in my handbag. So this is probably the only heaviest thing I have. And so, you know, it's either in my bag or I just grab it in my hand. I don't take it to places like the grocery store, or if I'm just popping to my friend's house, you know, like I don't just take it out unnecessarily. Like if I'm going to town to do shopping, I don't need this with me. I can just have a sticky note, or I've got my Filofax wallet pouch thing, and this has got a notebook in here where I will just write down a list of things that I need to buy or get done or whatever. So yeah, I do take it with me everywhere else because I love writing in it. I love checking things. I love looking at my like if I'm out and someone says, can you do X, Y, and Z? I like to have a look at my future planning monthly calendar that I keep in the back here. So yeah, I know to some people it might seem like, God, that's really heavy, unnecessary thing for you to carry around, but it works for me. And even around the house, I definitely carry it around with me, like everywhere. Breakdown of your routine to pin. So I'm not sure what that question means actually, and so I will have to reply to the person and figure it out. But what I thought it might mean is this little daily, weekly, monthly routine that I have. And so if that was you who sent this question, please let me know if that's what you meant, if you want me to like just like break down exactly what's on my daily, weekly, monthly routine, which I'm happy to do, but that will probably have to be a separate video because as you can see there's quite a lot of information on there. So yeah, please let me know if that's what you meant. How much does your planner weigh? So this current Stalogy, I weighed it for you. It's just a little bit over 800 grams. It's about 810 grams, which is, I know, a little bit less than a kilo. But yeah. Can you do a tutorial on how to tip in the photo pouch? So I think they are referring to this like me and my big ideas photo pouch that I've tipped in. I will leave a video link below for how I tip anything in, and because this is exactly how I have tipped that in. I just had to snip off a little bit off the top there to make it B6 height, and because it does come with holes like you know, punched, I put some washi tape on both sides, and then I've just used the exact same method that I use to use tape and a ruler or a gift card to tip that in. I had quite a few questions about how I decide where to put tip-ins in. So tipping in is anything that you add to the planner. I have like my monthly tip-ins that I add, you know, so like my monthly calendar always goes there. But in terms of just like random decorative tip-ins, there's no system. I will just add where I feel like it. So here I just thought this, you know, page would look really nice on top of May, so I add it. I try not to do like consecutive, like all pages just tip in, but definitely after sections. So like if this is my homeschool section and then memory keeping about my family, here I could have put a tip in if I wanted to. I haven't. I don't know why, because I generally you just need an excuse to add tip-ins. But yeah, I honestly don't have any rhyme or reason as to where I tip in decorative things. Like, but I don't ever put them in between a week. So you'll always find Monday through Sunday as one section. Even if like a new month starts here, I have, you know, added a tip in the past to separate the month, but I just prefer to have my week in one section without anything else in between. And then, you know, immediately after that, generally I will have tip in and then notes and then another tip in before my weekly. So yeah, end of week tip in, a little bit more tipping in, some notes, and then another tip in before the week. So it kind of depends on my mood. Like here I've got a tipped in page in between notes. Yeah, it really depends on my mood, and if I'm doing lots of like creating and making lots of things, like I was doing my own foiling, then you'll see that, okay, I'm using a lot more stuff in my planner. Yeah, here you can see there's like one there and then a page, then one here and a page and two here before my weekly, and then immediately after that as well. So yeah, there I just add it where I feel like it. Sorry, I know that's probably not very helpful. Stamps, pens, paints, markers. I don't know, like I do use stamping. I just use like a cheap ink pad from Hobbycraft, and I've never had any problems with bleeding. It does shadow, but it doesn't bother me. Again, there was another question about like ghosting on the Stalogy paper and any tips for dealing with it. I actually really love when my like pen, you know, kind of imprints. Like I love that bumpy feeling on the previous page. So yeah, I'm probably not the best person to ask, to be honest. I use lots of different pens, like fountain pens and ballpoint pens, and yeah, I haven't found any that has bled so badly that I've, you know, had to not use it in my planner. So I do have a separate video on like which pens I've used with the Stalogy and have worked well, so I will link that for you guys below as well. Stationery pet hates. I think the only kind of pet hate I have is, and this is why I don't use highlighters, is when you highlight something or use like a brush pen and it smudges and smears the whole thing and you get this like black smear. Yeah, I hate that. So that's why I started using like these little page marker things instead, because I hate that smudging. How do you create tabs? I don't make any of my own tabs. These are all bought. Again, I will refer you to the tab video because I think I've covered all the questions that anybody could have about tabs on there. How do I store washi, stickers, vellum and acetate? So washi I have a separate video for again, but I will just show you very quickly. My washi box is from Amazon. Ugh. And it's just like, I think it's a sunglasses case, I'm not sure, but it comes like this. I do have it linked in my Amazon cart, and it's a stack of 3, and I have, so this is 1, and I have 6 in total for my washi, which I'm sure you guys will see in my pictures and stuff like that. Stickers also, I have showed you guys, I have an accordion folder where I keep all my stickers, and then I transfer them to my Muji sticker books. Yeah, vellum and acetate I just keep in like my drawer. I have like a section, they're like in a folder. One's got vellum, one's got acetate, one's got yeah, that's it actually, vellum and acetate. Oh, papers, like different gift papers and random stuff, and I will just flip through them anytime I want to tip things in. Where do you buy your supplies from, specifically your washi tape? Lots, and honestly, like so many different places. Best bet is to check, like have a look at my washi video, because I do go through all the washi that I have, and kind of give you a good idea of where each of those are from. How easy is it to put a D-ringed Malden into a Stalogy? I would say very easy. Like the back cover, if you haven't got like any other cover on it, like this cover from Lauren Phelps won't slip into the Stalogy Malden, because the Stalogy cover does fit in, but it slips in, but you just need to kind of shuffle it in a bit, and it is just a very, very perfect fit. So anything that's got a little bit more height to it, like this cover, is not going to fit in it. But yeah, I would say the Stalogy front and back cover you can get in there. It's not something you can take in and out every day without, you know, like with ease, but it's definitely doable. Have you seen the YouTube video where you can take the spine out of the Stalogy and make it chunkier? I have seen that. I'm not sure whose video, but I remember somebody shared it with me, where they cut out the back of the Stalogy, and that stops this like curve here that you see. It's not something that I would do, because I don't mind the curve. I want to keep this in as good condition as I can. I'm sure this, you know, because I know the Stalogy is stitched inside, so it's not gonna, if you take that out, I don't think it's gonna damage the book. But I don't have a problem. Like, I've seen some people's Stalogies falling apart and the spine is peeling off and things like that. You've seen like my chunky Stalogies, and I've never had any issue with the spine in terms of like falling apart or coming apart, anything like that. And you know, I fill these to the maximum. My other one is even thicker than this, and again, it just looks perfect. So it's not something I would personally do to my Stalogy, but yes, I have seen that. So the other 2 questions I had was, would I do a desk tour video, and also would I consider filming some homeschool videos? Yes and yes. I will add them to the list. Homeschool videos I will see, because I feel like homeschool, my sharing of my homeschool stuff is better on a blog rather than videos. I do write for a UK homeschool blog occasionally. I will leave the link to that below. I do have a few blog posts for that website that I am currently working on. But if there's anything specific that you wanted to know about homeschooling, let me know in the comments below, and I will, you know, do my best to either reply to you, or I will try and make it into a blog post and share that with you guys. Otherwise, I do have a separate homeschool Instagram account where I share, you know, lots of books and games that we use. Also share like our daily routine. I'll do a very occasional like day in the life of our homeschool in our stories, where I'll just, you know, take you guys along on our typical homeschool day. So the link for that is also down below if you are interested. But yeah, otherwise let me know if there's something very, you know, like if there's something specific you wanted to know about homeschooling. I'm more than happy to talk homeschool. Okay, that is it, guys. I have tried to do as many questions as I could. Well, actually, I answered all the questions I had received. Some of them were like very similar to each other, so I've kind of just tied them up into one. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.